call the regular city council meeting to order at 6:47 p.m. We ran over on the Plaza 10, August 5th, 2025. We have a quorum, and we will say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor and protect this flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. See, I'll let you come back. Okay, we will get reports from council. Councilman Ed Waters.
Nothing to report at this time.
Okay. Rick Fisher.
Just got word from Mary. She said nothing to report for parks other than we have the August meeting planned for Wednesday the 13th at 9 a.m.
Okay. Thank you, Rick. Susan Baker.
Nothing to report.
Jeff Terrell.
Nothing to report this week.
Mayor Pro Tem Amanda Fenn.
So this morning I had the pleasure of, on behalf of the city and our police department, dropping off breakfast at Stewart Elementary. Teachers went back to school this week, and school starts for pre-K, kinder, 6th and 9th on Tuesday, and everybody else goes back on Wednesday. So just a reminder about that. School zones will be in effect. Traffic might be a little challenging around here for the first couple of weeks, so just pack your patience and extra time getting on and off the island next week, and that's all I have.
All right, thank you, Amanda. I'm going to make mine short and sweet. Got a lot of complaints about bicycles running through stop signs. Have a lot of complaints about people speeding around the island, running through stop signs and cars. You will get a ticket for that. So don't leisurely drive through the stop sign. You will get a ticket. Like Amanda said, school's going to be starting. All it's going to take is one mistake. Somebody's leisurely driving around, rolling through the stop sign, and a kid comes through on a bicycle, and it's going to change your life forever. So please stop at the stop signs, fully stop at the stop signs. I don't know who the children are riding these mopeds around the island, but they are blasting through the stop signs right here in front of City Hall. We see 10 of them a day. Same people, but 10 times a day they're going right through that stop sign. Please talk to your children, tell them to slow down at those stop signs, because these cars are expecting them to stop sometimes. And I saw an almost accident right here on Birch. Someone didn't stop. The golf cart stopped expecting them to stop, and the golf cart pulled out. Thank goodness the kid on the bike was paying attention, because or the electric scooter was paying attention, because they were able to get around them and avoid an accident. So please, please, please stop at the stop signs. We'll move on to Chief David Donaldson.
Mayor, I'd like to say that nobody's running the stop signs, but yesterday we issued 5 citations for nobody stopping at the stop sign. So yes, you're correct. They are going to the stop sign. I have the monthly stats here. I wanted to kind of change things up, if it's all right with council and the city administrator. I crunched the numbers for the month of July, July 1st through the 31st, and I did a pie chart. To me, it looks better. I set one on your desk, I believe, everybody's desk. If you look at the pie chart, 54.62% was business checks, and then 23.69% was residential checks, and then it goes into traffic contacts, which is 11.76. And then if you look at the next one, 4.12, and that's assist other agency. And then it breaks into, it kind of breaks down to the smaller graphs. But I think I'd like to start doing things this way. It looks better. It has a good look to it. It's colorful, and I like it better than the numbers that we give out each month. If somebody looks at the numbers, they don't know really what's going on, and sometimes it might look worse than what it is.
Yeah.
So that's the way I want to start doing it. Give it to Teresa, and she can fix it up, and she can post that if that's okay with y'all.
Yeah, just make sure she gets it so she can put it up there and everybody in the audience can see it too, if that's all right.
So everybody's good with the pie chart? Okay, thank you. That's all I got.
Okay, we will, thank you, David. We'll move on to City Administrator Mike Cram.
I've spent most of the last 2 weeks in Cheryl's office working on budget. I don't really have much to report tonight.
Okay. All right, we will move on to item number 5, public comments. At this time, any person with city-related business may speak to the city council. If the topic discussion is not related to an item on the agenda, the comments may be made now or at the time the agenda item is discussed. If the topic of discussion is not related to an item on the agenda, the city council cannot deliberate or take any action at this time. Comments from the public should be limited to a maximum of 3 minutes per individual. No yielding of time is permitted. Would anyone like to address the city council? State your name and address, please.
Darlene Pettit, 818 Cedar. I just wanted to talk about the pool for a minute. Not this last Gem on Jarbo, but the one before. We were at the pool, and we had some young kids that fought with us. One almost hit me trying to get in after 8 p.m. So the guards were gone. I had to get the officer on duty. I think it's one of the new guys. He was very rude. I'm just going to say that. I don't know who it was. I tried to explain to him what the pool rules were, and he told me to mind my own business. He didn't need me to tell him, and he doesn't know what they are. I happen to know what they are because I helped write them. But the kids were horrendous and horrible. I don't know what part of nobody under 18 after 8 p.m. is not a problem, but it was pretty bad. People were trying to leave, adults were trying to leave. They were grabbing the gate and holding the gate so that you couldn't leave, so that they could get in, and they said they have every right to be here, blah, blah, blah. I don't know what the police officer talked to them finally and let them go home. But there should have been more to that than just that was just totally uncalled for. It was ridiculous. I don't drink, so we cannot say that I was drunk or I did anything. I don't drink, so I was completely sober.
Were you assaulted?
We were, let's just say the gate was ripped out of my arm several times, but no, I mean, it's a kid, but he was probably 6 foot tall, about 15. He said he had every right to be in there, to swim in there. That we were over 21, so we should be babysitting him.
Okay, so the officer that was out there was working a function at Jarbo.
Jarbo. He was doing on Jarbo.
That's where his attention needs to be. If an issue comes like this, then they can call an officer on duty and he can come out. This officer's working for the Civic. That's who's paying him, and I just think that it could have been handled a different way. So we need to reach out and call the police and have them dispatched so we can keep track of it.
Well, there was 2 cars there and 2 police, so I just went up and said, I don't know who can handle this, but I need somebody over here. So, and that's not normal for the police officers to be rude. They're usually very nice, but it's a new one. It was definitely a new guy.
Yeah, well, we got 2, 3 of them.
I don't know who they are, so, but it was just really wild. So I don't know what we need to do about telling the kids that, there's adult time. We changed it because we're all older and we don't go to the pool at 10 at night to stay there till midnight. We switched it to 8 p.m. so we could have some decent adult time, so. That is all I have.
All right, thank you, Darlene. I'm going to let you look into that, David, and handle that, please, however you see fit.
Yes, sir.
Anyone else like to address the council? You're making funny faces. You want to go address the council? You got something to say? Oh, okay. Sounded like you were saying something. All right. We'll move on and we'll close the public comments. We'll go to item 6, consent agenda. Item A, check register 6/25/2025 through 7/30/2025. Council meeting minutes 7/1/2025. Fiscal year 3rd quarter investment report and fiscal year 3rd quarter financial report. We have a motion on the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion that we approve the consent agenda.
Okay, got a motion by Ed,
I'll
got a second by Amanda. Any discussion on the consent agenda? Okay, all in favor? Okay, motion passes unanimous. We'll move on to number 7, old business. Discussion of possible action may be taken on the following items. Item A, waterfront lease transfer E-127B Kemple to Nicholas. Item B, waterfront lease transfer F-128A Nicholas to Kemple. Item C, waterfront lease transfer 128AA Kemple to Nicholas. And item D, waterfront lease split F-128 and F-128B to Nicholas. So I started looking at this afternoon, and I spent about 2 hours. So before we go any further, I'm going to explain how this looks like what I think you thought you saw last week. If you look at all the transactions, right now, Brian Kemple has more than 45 feet, okay? At the end of the day, if you read the paperwork, it looks like he's going to end up with 67 feet. I went over this with Angie for quite a while. That's the way she saw it based on the paperwork. What I was told by Angie is Matthew Nicholas came in and said, I don't know how to break this up, just do this. And I think there was a miscommunication there, because I talked to both parties today. If you look at the surveys that are on these, the surveys show clearly there's a 127B that's 12.5 feet. That's being transferred to Matthew Nicholas. There's a Kemple to Nicholas that's 17.5 feet. And then over here to the right, Brian Kemple already owns 25 feet of 128B. He also owns 10 feet of 129A. They are going to break apart the 32.5 feet of 128A. It's listed on here as 128A, and I think that was the confusion. It's not going to be the same lease. They're going to have to renumber that lease or make that 10 feet part of 128B. This survey shows a finished product of that transaction. So if you take what they each have now and you split this 10 up, what is actually going to be at the end is the 2250 plus the 1750 plus the 1250. That's what Matthew will end up with. Brian Kemple will have the 25 plus his 10 on the right, and he's getting 10 from the 3250 back from Matthew. So he will have a total of 45 feet, and then Matthew will have, I think, 5250. Brian had more than 45 feet when he had the 3250, the 25, and the 10. So he's actually coming out with less. And so prior to us changing the 40-foot rule, he already had more. So I wanted to make sure that was clear, because it wasn't clear last time at all. The paperwork needs to be changed. And I talked to them and let them know if we approve this tonight, it's going to be approved with them going back in and getting with Angie and making the paperwork right. The survey's right, but this transfer paperwork's not right. So we can either pull this off of here until they get the paperwork right, or we can approve it pending them getting this paperwork right with Angie, however you guys see fit. But the survey is the same on each one of these transfers, and it's very clear when you look at the survey. Matthew Nicholas has a primary resident, so does Brian Kemple. Brian had more than 45 feet to begin with. Matthew did not, but Matthew also owns another piece of property in Clear Lake Shores. So there are some issues. Amanda and I talked to each other about it. Mike knows about it. We do need to work on that waterfront lease and clear up a few things when it comes to the 40-foot primary resident and owning a second piece of property. Mike has been talking to Dick about that, and they are working on getting that corrected as we speak. So you guys, I can't make a motion, but I just wanted you guys to understand, no one's getting more than what they had now that can't have more. Matthew's going to have less than 80, and he owns more than one property. And so that's how we've been doing that. There are some properties on the island, just for the record, that have owned waterfront property for a while and never built a home, and they do not live here. So that's another issue that we're working through to figure out, that we'll bring back to you guys and say, what do you want to do with this? Which way do you want it to be? Because we need to have it written the way we're going to police it, and we need to police it the way it's written. And I can't speak for people in the past. All I can speak for is we come across this now, and I never caught it in the past. I don't transfer waterfronts around much, but we caught it this time. So we need to straighten this out, and we need to fix it once and for all. But as far as this transfer looks, to me, if all of these items go through, that's the way it's going to break out. I think part of it was they had, the split was at the end, and all these transfers were taking place, so it looked like somebody ends up with a lot of property or a lot of lease space until you take the split and split it up, and then it goes back down for both people. So that's all I had to offer on those items. Do we have any motions at all on those items?
But before you go into making motions, may I offer a suggestion?
Sure.
The survey, as it's included in the packet, is correct for the final footage for each piece of lease ownership. If council wishes to approve the transfer based on that survey, then I will make sure that the two people transferring the property among each other come in and correct all of their paperwork to comply with how the survey reads. Just an offer.
All right, well, I'll tell you what then. I'll make a motion to approve, let's call it item 7, A, B, C, and D, the waterfront leases based on the surveys, but before it actually goes through, the paperwork has to be corrected, and we can leave that up to Mike.
Okay, got a motion by Rick,
I'll second that.
got a second by Ed. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion passes unanimous. We'll move on to item 8. New business, discussion and possible action may be taken on the following item. Consideration and possible action to authorize me, Randy Cronister, as mayor to sign a special warranty deed signifying that the city acceptance of the conveyance of Tyndall Drive from Galveston County, Texas as grantor to the city of Clear Lake Shores, Texas as grantee. And furthermore, this real property is also described as a certain strip of land designated as Tyndall Drive on the map of Silver Lagoon Estates, a subdivision in Galveston County, Texas, according to the map or plat thereof recorded in volume 25-A, or 254-A, I'm sorry, page 84, and transferred to book 6, page 37, in the office of the county clerk of Galveston County, Texas. Mike Krant.
I'm glad I didn't have to read all that, Mayor. So while I was going through one of the boxes of prior city administrator stuff that was cleaned out of prior offices, I came across a document that showed Tyndall Drive being deeded over to the county of Galveston by the original developers. And so I started doing some research and contacted Galveston County, talked to their right-of-way department. Tyndall Drive has never been on their maintenance schedule. They didn't know they owned it. But when they started going through the old records, they discovered that they did own it. They don't want it. And they asked if we had been maintaining. I said I would assume so. It's paved. So basically this is a $10 transfer for them to turn the roadway over to the city. And this is just the deed work associated with it for legalities.
And this already went to commissioners, right?
The commissioner have already approved it, yes.
Yeah.
No, I was just making
So I'll make a motion to approve Mayor Cronister to sign said special warranty deed.
I'll second.
Okay, got a motion by Amanda, got a second by Jeff. Any discussion on that item? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion passes unanimous. We'll move on to item B. Appoint Jay Fenwick to the Roads and Drainage Committee due to the vacancy left by Tony Peterson's resignation. Mike Cram.
So at the Roads and Drainage meeting this past week, the body discussed filling the vacancy that exists from Tony's departure. Jay was actually in attendance. They unanimously voted to recommend Jay to be considered for a placement on that body, and I fully support that as well.
And I believe he was the only applicant when we advertised that, was he not?
I didn't want to denigrate him, Mayor. I mean, he's a worthy applicant.
He is a worthy applicant. Maybe he scared everyone else off. Maybe think about it like that. So,
And just for the record, I will abstain from discussion and a vote. I will abstain from voting and discussing this
Well, I
item.
won't. I'll make a motion we appoint Jay Fenwick to the Roads and Drainage Committee due to the vacancy left by Tony Peterson's resignation.
okay, have a motion by Jeff,
I'll second it.
got a second by Rick. Any discussion? All in favor? Okay, motion passes. We have 4 and 1 abstain. Did I get that right? Hadn't had to do that much. All right, we're going to recess into executive session at 7:07 p.m.